as we come to the closing of this 10-part series, the last few points I wanted to touch on is, or this point that I'm going to be talking about now, is this term which I find to be so powerful, is all roads lead back home. All roads lead back home. Whether it be the road that was not intended, the most riskiest road, the most joyful road that was led by God, road that was led by evil, as each pathway takes you back home. Now your home could be any definition. Your home could be someone you love, could be a physical place, could be God. In terms of my home today, it's actually in where I grew up. And there's a term, you can't grow from the environment that hurt you. Just putting that phrase up in the air. I decided to leave home, to go and find myself, discover my purpose, try and find out who am I, what is my surname, what does my first name mean, trying to find out why am I on this earth, you know. So I left home, I left the environment that hurts me to start off fresh. But what's sad is that you can take you can take a gangster out of the hood, but you can't take the hood out of the gangster, you know. So you can take someone that's been hurting in the environment, doesn't mean he's still not going to let go of it when he goes, you know. And sadly, some parts of me, as soon as I left home, I still held on to the stuff that hurt me. I still held on to home. I still held on to the stuff that broke me, that broke me down as a person. And I came to this place to try and find myself, try and find my purpose. But unfortunately, it's hard to do that when you're still holding on to that. So there is going to be a time where I'm going to be heading back home. And I am kaka afraid. I am terrified. I decided to go away from home to find myself, to become the best version of myself. And I left home behind completely. I erased it. Now I have this opportunity of going back. And one thing I asked my partner, I asked my woman, I said, I feel like I'm not ready to go back home. And she says, why is that? And I said, I thought I was supposed to leave home, go and find myself, go and find my purpose, you know, become that person, then come back and feed my family. And she said to me, what does feeding your family mean? And I said, you know, come and make sure they're good financially, you know, make sure this one's sorted. That was my plan, you know. I thought that was my part for me, you know. Then she said to me that I've known you for so long, and you've grown so much as a person, so much as an individual, so much as a man. You saying that when you go back home, you're not going to be feeding them more with wisdom, more with knowledge, more with vulnerability. Then I took a step back and I said to myself, I said, you know what, you're right. I have grown a lot, and I have become a better version of myself than who I was when I first moved away from home. So me going back home is I'm going with a different mindset of, yes, this thing still affects me, but I'm going back to deal with it. And just to touch on that point, I was listening to a YouTuber called Hamza, and what's so nice about listening to him is that I listen to a lot of people, but there's a lot of people that are a bit fake out there, man. They're not really raw and original. Some of them put on this facade. So I tend to look at a lot of real people where they actually speak facts, and they actually open up about their vulnerability and their weaknesses. And I actually look up to this man. You know, there's a lot of stuff that I can disagree with. Sure, I disagree with a lot of people, but there's a lot of stuff that I take in, not word for word, but I take it in and evaluate it myself and see how can I implement it in my life. So there's one thing he said that when he was in university, he was doing nonsense. He was partaking in so many stupid things. He was losing himself along the way. So he decided to take that step and cut that shit out and move back home. Once he moved back home, he was able to focus. He was clear-headed. He was able to work on his bag, work on the grind, focus on his breath. Once he done that, that's when he spread out into the world, and that's when he spread his message into the world. So I said to myself, you think it could be the same? Is that I went away from home to try and grow myself, deal with myself, but there was still a bit of home that I was still holding on to, because there's a lot of stuff that still affected me in so many ways. And there's a lot of stuff that I haven't dealt with as yet. So you're saying by me going home and actually putting my head down and actually focusing and actually dealing with it head on, choosing the pain of me lifting up the weights, focusing on my breath, focusing on my mental health, by me going home and actually doing that and actually diving deep into what is intended for me, that's when I can actually go out and spread my message, spread my word, and actually do it in a way that I'm truly healed or in the progress of healing more so, instead of holding on. So I just find that to be powerful, is because when I do go home, I'm going to have a different perspective. Is that sometimes when you are covered by good, when you are covered by protection, when you are covered by light, sometimes you don't really see the darkness. And I feel like my purpose, my inspiration to this world is I'm trying to educate, I'm trying to inspire the world, I'm trying to bring light, more so God's light, into this world through me, And I feel like I lost touch in the world outside. I lost touch in who I actually need to feed. I lost touch in saving other people. Meantime, the person I needed to save was myself. I needed to feed myself. I needed to get my light back. And I feel like going home will do that. It's not going to be easy. As I said, I'm cuck afraid. But I feel like it needs to get done, as I lost my purpose, man. I lost my drive. I lost my motivation. I don't know what to do anymore. I lost sense of me. I lost sense of what my name is, what my name truly is. And me going home with this different mindset, with this different thought process, with this wisdom on my back. Me going home and actually healing it and acquiring it. I always look at, because I'm a video gamer myself, man. I love video games. I love playing games, and so it just comes into just a normal silly game, man. It comes to sometimes you can't really unlock this level, or you can't really beat this boss. You still have to go out there and get the treasures, get the knowledge, get the resources, get the armor, get the shields, get the weapons, in order to come back and face this boss, face this level. So my thing was, this boss has been defeating me every single day, breaking me down, destroying my soul. I decided to go out into the world and try and grow and try and become this better version of myself. And yes, I've been doing that, but not more so financially. I've been acquiring more of the skill sets instead of the best armor, instead of the best shield, instead of me coming and instead of me going back to this boss and destroying it with the best armor, the best shield, I'm going to be using it more with skills. Now I feel like I just went a bit off topic there. I just went with rambling a bit, but I hope that makes sense.